This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe, and let's get right into the news. Well, it's such a shame when people don't see the vision. This is what 50 Cent was talking about during this interview with Big Boy TV, where, you know, he was talking about, like, these... He developed G-Unit, and unfortunately, everybody doesn't see the vision and doesn't play their part. They all think like, oh, I'm famous now, I can do this, or I'm going solo. They always ruin everything. Young Buck, let's say around the same time, I think the Game was the first to really split. The Game was brought into the fold because, you know, Interscope was going to drop him. It was Dr. Dre's artist, but there was no hype around him. Dr. Dre asked 50 Cent for a favor, and of course he was going to do it because of Dr. Dre and Eminem. He was in the position he was in. And he helped Dr. Dre bring the Game to market. And with the hype around 50 Cent, it worked. You know, like he sold, I think, 5 times platinum on his first album. 50 Cent even gave him a few records. But then the Game always had a plan, according to Jim Jones, before he even signed, to split from 50 and have a beef with him because he was going to use 50's own blueprint to get in the game, beefing with everybody. But instead of this point, he was beefing with 50 Cent. The Game lost out on millions of dollars doing this. You know, it worked for a couple of years where he was, you know, selling albums and everything, and eventually nobody cared about the Game anymore. 50 Cent continued on, but then Young Buck was the next person to leave, saying F 50 because he was so mad that he didn't manage his money properly. He spent it all, didn't have enough money to pay the government, had to borrow money from 50, had so many fallouts with 50 that 50 had to record him crying on the phone to him to as an insurance policy. So the next time Young Buck went against him and said F G-Unit, he had to play that phone call of G-Unit crying, begging, Young Buck crying and begging for forgiveness. And at that point, you know, G-Unit didn't look so tight anymore. You know, like everyone, that's what happens when people get money. They forget where they came from. They don't stay loyal to home base. Only Drake and Nicki and people like that have stayed loyal to Lil Wayne. Never gone against him, never talked ill against him. They didn't even speak bad about Birdman when Birdman and Lil Wayne were going through issues, and it was clear that Birdman was wrong. The Game and Young Buck I look at as snakes. Young Buck even got brought back into the fold at one point and then went against 50 again. 50 can never let him back in again. Now they're going on a G-Unit tour. I don't think Lloyd Banks is a part of it because Lloyd Banks has kind of drifted off and did his own thing. Him and 50 didn't mesh after a while, but they're good forever. They're like brothers, you know, because they came from the same neighborhood and grew up together. But, you know, there was many times where, like, you know, Young Buck and Lloyd Banks didn't agree with 50 Cent. They weren't wearing the Reebok shoes that they were all getting paid for, like, athletes to wear. They were getting, like, I think $50,000 to $100,000 a month just to wear these shoes and the Reebok apparel and G-Unit apparel, and they weren't rocking it. They wanted to have their own fashion. And it's like, bro, you're getting paid. You're paying off your houses and everything with this money. Like, it's unbelievable. He could have had an athlete or somebody else wear it, and then they would have been crying like, why didn't you give us that money? I would have rocked G-Units. But you didn't. So 50 kind of comments on this that he wishes they could have all fallen in line, or the most loyal one, Tony Yayo, could have been the one to succeed, and 50 could have managed him.
Entertainment game. Did you come in thinking about like the hustle game as well, the dope game, that they're like, man, this is easy for me?
You know, in the beginning, but there was always things that I couldn't understand that was happening. That was like, I couldn't manage the artists. I couldn't keep all of the artists in pocket, or it'd be...
Yeah, because they were making too much money, and they felt like their success wasn't due to 50 Cent. They didn't realize it till it was too late, till they had broken the label and the faith in the label by the fans.
5 of us here today. Bro.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
you talking about like G-Unit,
yeah.
where, yeah.
They're all, because like when you look at all of the groups that came, right? They all kind of, either the guy that's in there that is extremely talented pulls out to the front and he goes, "I'm going solo."
Like Omarion and B2K.
He like leaves the other guys, like, or there's the scenarios where, because it started like that big. The beauty of how G-Unit worked is my solo album took off so big that I just brought them with me, so it was clear that it was me creating the opportunity for everybody else in the crew.
Right.
But we was all together. I wish it would have been Yayo,
Why?
because then I could have did all of the business.
And that would have been nice, but 50 Cent says later, he says the nice thing about being solo now is that I'm not going to diss myself and I'm not going to go against myself. Like, I'm going to stay in pocket with myself. And that's the beauty of being solo. Anyways, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. Let me know what you guys think about the whole G-Unit situation. I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace.